Imagine trying to build a city where every citizen speaks a different language, no one knows the traffic laws, and the electricity only works if you ask it nicely in binary. That is a computer without an OS. It's just a useless pile of expensive sand and metal. The operating system is the ultimate translator, the diplomat and the dictator that turns total hardware chaos into the apps you love. But why does the digital world look so different depending on where you live? Is Linux actually a superior tool or just a high-maintenance hobby? And why does Unix code from the 1970s still run the modern world? From the corporate dominance of Windows and the walled gardens of macOS and iOS to the open-source rebellion of Android and BSD, we are breaking down the entire family tree of tech in this video. Windows and macOS. We start with the one you likely grew up with, the OS that attempted to conquer the world by saying yes to everyone. If the digital world has a default setting, it's Windows. Born in the mid-80s as a graphical skin over MS-DOS, it didn't just win the desktop war, it ended it. Windows holds roughly 70% of the market share because Microsoft's philosophy is everything, everywhere. They don't care if you're using a budget laptop or a $5,000 workstation, Windows will try to run on it. But this compatibility is a double-edged sword. To ensure your 20-year-old office printer still works, Windows carries decades of legacy code. It's like building a modern skyscraper on a 19th century foundation. This bloat is exactly why you face the blue screen of death and those infamous forced updates. Furthermore, Windows has shifted from a tool you own to a service that tracks you. With built-in telemetry and ads in the Start menu, you have to ask, is the convenience worth the privacy cost? It is the OS for the gamer and the corporate worker alike, not because it's perfect, but because it's the common language of the world. macOS, the elegant fortress. But while Windows was busy trying to run on every piece of junk hardware on the planet, another company decided that the only way to achieve perfection was to control everything, software and hardware alike. If Windows is a messy city, macOS is a high-end gated community. Since 2001, macOS has been built on a Unix-based foundation. This means beneath those pretty icons is a rock-solid industrial powerhouse. It's why creative professionals swear by it. It's stable, secure, and rarely crashes because the software is designed to keep your apps sandboxed. But there's a price, the walled garden. macOS only runs on Apple hardware. This vertical integration allows for incredible battery life and performance, especially with Apple's M-series chips, but it destroys your freedom. You cannot upgrade your RAM. You cannot fix it yourself. You are a guest in Apple's house. The real trap is the ecosystem. Your texts, clipboard, and files sync across your devices effortlessly. To fans, this is continuity. To critics, it's vendor lock-in. Apple limits your freedom to tinker in exchange for a system that stays fast for years. It's a benevolent dictatorship. iOS and Android. Apple took this fortress philosophy and shrunk it down for the device in your pocket, creating iOS. But that move forced the rest of the world to look for an alternative, triggering the greatest mobile rivalry in history. iOS is a high-security vault. It's the gold standard of curation. Every swipe is micromanaged to feel premium. You don't own the file system, and you can't easily sideload apps. It is a safe space where the software is designed to protect you from yourself while keeping you inside Apple's profit machine. Then there is Android, the sprawling bazaar. Based on the Linux kernel, it powers 70% of the world's phones. Its philosophy is choice. You can buy a $100 phone or a $2,000 foldable. It's open source, allowing manufacturers to skin the OS with their own tech. Android is where the future usually happens first. But Android's freedom leads to fragmentation. Because there are thousands of devices, updates are often late or non-existent, and since it's Google's window into your life, privacy is secondary to data harvesting. You get more control, but you are the product. Linux and ChromeOS. If Android's version of Open feels too corporate for you, there's a way to go even deeper. You can go to the source code that Android was built on and enter the world of the true rebels. If you want to escape big tech entirely, you go to Linux. This isn't one OS, it's a family of thousands. The core philosophy is open source. You can see every line of code. This is why Linux runs 100% of the world's supercomputers and the servers that host the website you're on right now. But Linux demands effort. It's a community of people who would rather spend hours fixing a driver than spend 1 minute being tracked by Microsoft or Apple. ChromeOS is what happens when Google takes Linux and hides it behind a browser. It is a cloud-first appliance. It's fast, cheap, and virtually impossible to break because you're not really installing software, you're just accessing the web. In 2026, the lines are blurring as ChromeOS and Android merge, moving towards a unified AI-first desktop that makes the OS almost invisible. But we have to ask, where did Linux and Apple's foundations even come from? To find the answer, we have to look at the grandfathers of tech, the ancient architects that started it all. Unix was born in 1969 at Bell Labs. Its philosophy, do one thing and do it well, became the blueprint for the entire Internet. Every time you use a Mac or a website, you are touching Unix DNA. BSD was the academic rebel. It took the Unix blueprint and perfected it for networking. While you might not know anyone who runs BSD, it's likely in your house. The PlayStation 5 runs on a version of FreeBSD. The networking stack in your router probably does too. It is the most stable software ever written, designed to keep the world's infrastructure running without ever crashing. It doesn't care about user-friendliness. It cares about being a rock. An operating system is more than just a menu. It's the boundary that defines what you can and cannot do with the hardware you paid for. It is the lens through which you see the world and the filter through which the world sees you. Whether you prioritize the polished security of iOS, the compatibility of Windows, or the freedom of Linux, you are a citizen of a digital territory. The question is, do you actually like the laws of the land you're living in? Tell me in the comments, are you paying the Apple tax for peace of mind, or are you ready to jump the wall into open source? Hit subscribe to join the rebellion. Thanks for watching.